Hello there, welcome to another session. And in today's session, we'll be talking about the importance of innovation, why we should consider innovation. Is it something valuable? Is it meaningful? That's what we'll be covering today. But before we get started, I'd like us to start with a very small exercise. Think of something that is super annoying in your daily life, something that wastes your time, frustrates you, or just doesn't make any sense. It could be being stuck in traffic. I know I hate that. It could be losing your keys in the morning and you can't find them. It could be something, but whatever it is, you can write it down. You can write like 3 things that annoy you or you'd like to do something about. So, and then the next challenge is maybe in one sentence, think about crazy ideas on how you will fix such pain points. Let's call them pain points because it's a pain. It's a pain in your life, maybe. How would you fix it? The ideas don't have to be realistic. They could be out of this planet, but how would you go about fixing some of these pain points or challenges or frustrations that you have? Think deeply. You see that small exercise? That's what innovators do. We notice pain points, we notice gaps, and then we imagine what solutions could look like. What in the next 10 years, what an ideal solution would look like. After imagining a potential solution, we try and build such a solution, right? So we notice challenges, we imagine what solutions could be or ideas that can fix these issues, and then we try to build them. Even the crazy ideas, right? Why should we innovate? Is it meaningful for us? What does it mean? If it weren't for human innovation, we'd still be living in caves. The modern machines that you see, of course, electricity, or even the modern internet will not be there. We owe it all to innovation. So, innovation has been the driving force behind every major advancement in human history. Of course, from the discovery of fire to the printing press to the internet to artificial intelligence, it has all been through the ability of man to notice gaps, right? Notice gaps, imagine solutions, and then strive to build them and improve on them. Life expectancy during the time of Jesus was around 38 years. That if you are 38 years, people would say you've lived a full life. But thanks to advancements in modern medicine and, of course, infrastructure and living standards, that has more than doubled, right? So we sort of owe our comfy existence to ancestors' abilities to innovate, if you think about it. And nature also, not just us, but nature itself is innovative. And evolution comes out as part of nature, as that innovative bit, right? Evolution, improving on species, improving on topography, improving on geography. I mean, that is nature sort of also innovating. In the 20th century alone, smallpox killed an estimated 300 to 500 million people in the 20th century. The world owes Edward Jenner for the innovation of the smallpox vaccine. Sometimes innovation is a matter of life and death. That if we do not find a better way, if we do not think of solutions, it could literally be what stands between life and death. And to quote a famous saying from Steve Jobs, that innovation distinguishes between leaders and followers, of course, kings and slaves, producers and consumers. Innovation is what sets people really apart. The ability to create and the other, the ability to just consume and never be able to create anything. Empires are built through innovation, that's for sure. The ability to create value, and not just create value once, but consistently, making life easier, more enjoyable, and fulfilling for others. That's what creates an empire for you. If you look towards the right, you can see a lot of icons for a lot of companies that you know now as global giants. But they are all a product of innovation. They're all products that are now empires that are serving millions, not billions of people. If you're feeling frustrated with how your life is going, if you're feeling at a loss, innovation is a way of taking charge of your life. It's through innovation that you're able to notice the small things that bite away at you and imagine what solutions could look like, and actually then start taking meaningful steps towards fixing your life. Innovation has always been the answer when in crisis, when societies are about to collapse, when governments are collapsing. You can trace innovation as what came out as a potential fix. Whatever solution that came out at the end was a product of people sitting down and brainstorming solutions and actually driving that solution to work. If you think about it, it's a God-given gift to our own problems. That inherently inside you, you have the ability to come up with solutions for your own problem. I stand to believe that, for example, if the country that you're living in right now, Kenya, is to become a first world country, innovation has to pave the way. That we have to find a way to improve the way we live, improve our ability to produce, improve logistics, and all of these factors that will slowly but surely drive us towards that direction. If we talk about the job crisis in our country, which is very real, we all know a cousin or a brother or a sister who has been outside campus for more than 2 years, but still struggling to get a meaningful job. Then innovation comes to fix that gap. A job is not just a job. A job is an identity. The society acknowledges you by your contribution to that society. That is your job, that you're a nurse, you're a doctor, you're a policeman. So a job is not just a means to earn, but it is your identity. The unemployment rate in Kenya, at least last year, 2025, was set to increase by 7.23%. In 2024, the youth unemployment stats were at 5.3 million unemployed youths. And every year, more than 100,000 people leave schools to join the job market. It's a ticking time bomb. With companies shutting down left, right, and center, with recently seeing the closure of Coco networks, with giants like DT Dobi leaving the country, we have to stop and ask ourselves, is really a college education a guarantee to better economic opportunities for our youth? It's not a 100% fix. And if you're watching this and you're a youth, you can easily stand by and say, but it is the responsibility of the government to create jobs for me. But you have to take charge of your life. That's where innovation comes in, that you can build something for yourself instead of waiting for, say, the government to create an opportunity for you. So innovation is a way for you to create a product or a service that can evolve to be a company. All right, so let's talk why it is important for you as a business or an organization to innovate. innovation is not just for individuals, but as a business manager, as a CEO, as a leader in your organization, innovation is particularly important. So let's see why. Without innovation, you become obsolete. That's a very particular statement. See, this is the nature of life. If you stop growing, we call you stagnant, and stagnation is the route to decay. If you're not growing, you are declining. For example, if you find a child at 3 years, they have certain characteristics, they do things in a certain way. But if you leave that child and come back again after a decade, and you find the child is still the same, doing the same thing, the same characteristics, then that is a red flag. Something is not right. It's the same thing for a company or an organization. Without growing, without changing, you start stagnating. Let's look at a particular case that's very common, Nokia. At its peak, around 2007, Nokia held a dominant 49.4% of the global smartphone market. Picture that, 49.4%, meaning other players at that time shared the other small percentage. This was big, and at that time Nokia was the king. It was very hard to predict that a few years later Nokia would start declining and come to what it is right now. What had led to Nokia's growth to such a proportion? Well, it was their ability to innovate. It was the ability to change and improve. This is what allowed them to appeal to the market. But that changed. They failed to realize that being king or being the dominant player does not last if you don't improve. They got comfortable. They got comfortable with the notion that they held one of the largest markets. They stopped innovating. They stopped growing. Such is so many companies, especially in our country. They've just stopped growing. And it doesn't matter how big you are. The moment you stop growing, the moment you stop introducing new products, pivoting to new changing customer needs, that's where you start stagnating. It was very hard to imagine that another company could come and steal Nokia's crown. But that's what happened. Apple came up with new designs, especially the design of touch screens, and this appealed to the market. While Nokia saw this, they thought, oh well, that's just gonna fade. It's just a temporary hype. But they had failed to notice that the customers they were serving, their needs had changed, and they stopped changing with them. They stopped improving their products to meet these changing needs. And what happened? Well, they lost their crown. Nokia is a case study today of why companies need to innovate and evolve. Innovation is a way to create competitive edge. If you're a business owner, if you're a business leader somewhere, you do understand the importance of having a competitive edge in the market. It goes without saying that that is what distinguishes you from your competitors. But it's also important to realize that trying to protect your competitive edge is a losing game. You'll be the same as Nokia. You cannot protect your competitive edge forever. You need to identify the changing needs of your customers and improve what you're offering to meet those changing needs. Let's have a very good example of Safaricom. We all know Safaricom. In our country, in Kenya, it holds a dominant 65.4% of the total mobile subscription. and these are statistics as of June 2024. And as you can see from this graph, the other percentage of the entire market share is shared by Airtel, Finserv, Telcom, and Selma. But why is Safaricom growing and growing? It's because the leadership at Safaricom realized one critical truth, and it was not enough to capture a certain market share and try to protect it. What they have done is every time, and we all know this, they are always releasing new products, new services to capture the market. Every time you hear they have launched a money market fund, they, for example, right now as we talk, they have launched a traders platform for people to trade stocks. They are always launching new products, always researching, always improving. And it's then not a big surprise that they keep dominating the market. Let me ask you this question. Do you think another company can come and steal Safaricom's crown? Yes. If Safaricom stopped innovating today, if they became satisfied with what they have achieved, stopped growing, stopped pivoting to changing customers' needs, then it is very possible that a certain company elsewhere comes and steals their crown. So you see, it's not enough to try and protect your competitive edge. You need to always create new competitive edge. Do you now understand why innovation matters? It has the potential to create meaningful change. There are very limited things that you can say in life that have the ability to create impact, not just for you, but for the entire community. And innovation is part of those things. It has the potential to uplift communities, change lives, make things easier for people, serve people. It has the potential to make you immortal. Think about it. Years later, we still remember the work of Thomas Edison and the other innovators that have gone before us. And chances are, in the next centuries, people will still remember them. In a way, that makes them immortal. So do you want to create meaningful change in your community, uplift lives, fix things, make life easier? Or do you want to be immortal? Then innovation is something that you should consider.